Hi guys, we have a list of topics to go through, and we're going to discuss certain things. So, we both finished Bioshock Infinite not too long ago. I probably finished it about 2 weeks ago, maybe?
On the date of when we're recording this, yes, about 2 weeks ago for me. 2 weeks ago today.
So, there's going to be massive spoilers, so if you haven't played the whole of the game, or if you haven't started playing it yet but expecting to, do not watch this video, because the ending is so much better if you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah,
and there'll be video footage in the background of the game, so even watching it will be bad.
So, as we're talking about it, I have VentureBeat.com up. Actually, I just Google search Bioshock Infinite, and we use that as a guideline. So, where do we start? Right, so basically, Booker DeWitt, the player's character, has been entrusted with the job of going to Colombia to rescue the girl Elizabeth and bring her back to New York. Apparently, this deed will rid Booker of his debts, gambling, in question mark. After blasting off into Colombia, Booker goes about trying to get Elizabeth, who's locked away in a tower. Before he can reach her, he receives a telegram telling him not to pick up number 77. Now, I don't actually remember that.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Remember that? He gets a telegram telling him not to pick number 77.
What happens is a little kid comes running along and says, for Booker DeWitt, and he goes, okay, picks it up and says not to pick up number 77, and then, do you know when you get the raffle and you pick up the baseball, and there's number 77 written on it? And then that's what he wins. So what they mean is don't pick up baseball number 77, because it'll mean you have to make the choice whether to not throw it at the interracial couple, which means and that leads them to finding him being the false shepherd.
So, when did this kid come along? What?
When he got into Colombia. Do you know when you're exploring Colombia and you're not recognised as the false shepherd yet? And everything seems very happy. It's around that time.
So, assumingly, the Lutess sent that to him.
I don't know, because I don't know. It could be Lutess. I don't know, it's very difficult. I don't know.
Was there anything significant about number 77? Or I suppose.
Well, 7 comes up in the Bible quite a lot, because there's 7 days in the week, and there's 7 in other types of religions. So 7's quite an important number in the Bible, but not 77.
Okay. So he ignores it, not understanding what this means. Then he sees a sign showing off a somewhat devilish hand with the letters AD printed on the back of it. These AD match the letters imprinted on the back of Booker's hand. Now, why did he have AD on his hand?
Hang on, before
in the first place, how did that even get?
I know why, and I also want to just point this out. Number 77. I just googled it. Apparently, it was used in World War II as a password because it's difficult to pronounce in Swedish, so you can know it straight away. And in religion, in Islamic religion, it's Muhammad reportedly to explain faith as 60 odd. It has 60 odd or 7 odd branches, the highest and best of which is to declare that there is no God but God, and the lowest of which is to remove something harmful from a road. Shyness too is a branch of faith, so it kind of ties into religion if you look into it like that.
So how did the AD
do you know,
get on his hand?
In the end, you find out Elizabeth's actually Booker DeWitt's daughter, and her real name's Anne. That means her real name's Anne DeWitt. So her initials are AD. Yeah. And so,
I know that.
And they explained that he wrote that on his hand because, as a penance, because he regretted doing it, so he wanted to shame himself, kind of thing. So he just wrote that on his hand.
Right. So.
Which is why Comstock knew.
So he lost Anna, and then just went, oh no, I need to
pay for that.
I suppose.
Which is why Comstock knew it would be on his hand, which is why Comstock designed the posters and said the false shepherd would be wearing this, because he knew Booker DeWitt would come, and he knew Booker DeWitt would have that on his hands. Because back when... Oh no, never mind. I was going to say back when they took him, that wouldn't have happened. So, back when they took him.
Okay, I'm going to take a random jump right to the end, right? I've just thought of this, and probably people who are watching this have just finished it anyway.
Yep.
But so right at the end, he lets himself get killed, so he won't become Comstock. But if he had lived, if he'd have got himself out of there, which is assumingly Comstock, then he doesn't have the girl, does he? Wait,
if he lives, he becomes Comstock. No, not if he lives. Sorry, hang on, he dies, right? And he dies like that, so that because do you know all Elizabeths come over and then they disappear after he's died. That's because all those Elizabeths are from different timelines, and in each timeline, either Comstock lives, in which case she's part of that, because Comstock's been baptized, so he lives, so she lives, or Comstock, or Comstock doesn't become.
But surely there's another timeline where he does choose to
not die.
Not let her.
Because what happens is, I think it was explained in the book that some events are. Do you remember, like when they were bringing back that Chinese man, the gunman?
Yeah.
And they were explaining like how some events are constant and you can't change them. That event was constant, so when he dies, it deletes all the timelines.
But how is that even possible? Because he existed in the first place for this whole game to have begun. So therefore, it must have gone through at some point.
He must have been Comstock and DeWitt for Elizabeth to have found him and killed him. Which is why you don't see the last Elizabeth disappear. It fades to black before you see her disappear, because that's the paradox, and you can't see that happen.
Yeah, so effectively it's a paradox because he has to live, but he let himself get killed.
So it deletes,
which isn't really technically possible. So
and DeWitt, which means it also deletes Elizabeth.
It just doesn't. So why did effectively when she killed him, she killed herself? Well,
that's why they all
get out
delete.
of that.
Apart from one,
well, why did she?
Because that.
Why did she kill herself then?
Because that one then survives because of that timeline. Because she's now in that timeline when that happens, that one Elizabeth survives, supposedly, and moves on through that timeline.
So she sacrificed herself for another version of herself?
All the versions sacrificed just so one could survive, and mean that all the other Elizabeths soon to come would also not happen, because at that time Booker would die.
And they said that even though he's dead and Comstock's dead, technically Columbia still went along.
Did they? When was that?
Yeah, but I don't know. I was watching a video, I think, but they said that even though Comstock's dead, Columbia still went ahead.
Comstock didn't create Columbia. He was just the leader of Columbia, because the woman who made Columbia was Lettice, or whatever her name was. So she would still survive. So she would still make Columbia. It would just be someone else leading them.
And on the subject of the Lutesses, it's really interesting because they used a particle that was in both dimensions to communicate with each other, and supposedly he is the same version of her in a different reality that meant she was male.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah, if you explore, you find all the Vox phones, don't you? And you find their backstories.
And she pulled him through from another dimension, which makes sense because, I mean, they've invented the technology to travel between dimensions. But wouldn't that technically mean, if they're using both dimensions will become one dimension then, if we think about it that way? Because in another dimension, they weren't able to pull each other through, and in one dimension, he pulled her through instead. So if we think about possibilities here, technically that's one possibility, and that would make it one dimension together, which is interesting to consider.
I don't think it would happen like that, but I think the dimension would still be independent. It would just that it would be linked. It wouldn't be the same dimension then, it would just be linked. Because when Elizabeth travelled across dimensions, the reason that she could open rifts is because her little finger was still in one dimension while she was in another. So she was still linked between dimensions.
Yeah.
So I think the dimensions then would be linked, but they wouldn't be the same. But there'd be other dimensions there that would have it changed so that the male brought the female through.
It's interesting because even though there's separate dimensions, it seems like the majority of dimensions are swayed a certain way. Because when he meets the Lutece twins for the first time, they have this blackboard where they're marking down if he gets heads or tails, and one's more common than the other, which is interesting.
One only happens once. I think heads always happens.
No, I think someone said that in a video, but I think I remember seeing that tails had some on as well, but not nearly as many as
well, yeah, okay.
heads.
So the main point is that there isn't as many heads as there isn't as many tails as heads.
And also,
yeah,
and also going back to the linked dimensions, that kind of makes sense as well, because if you remember, there was this statue of the female the male Lutece, and then when you look at it, it turns into the male Lutece or female Lutece or whatever way around it went, which was interesting to look at as well.
Okay.
What else is there? Ripping time and space. Well,
we kind of explained that.
Yeah, she gets her finger cut off. Just basically how she can do it. And she was getting siphoned in the tower, so she couldn't use.
Yeah, so she couldn't get out.
What was the point of obviously Comstock went to get her so that he'd have his daughter basically, because obviously he's heavy on religion, so it had to be his flesh and blood. So he went to a different dimension because he wasn't able to have children. But he was infertile because of why was he infertile? Because and aging lots. That's because he was exposed to dimensions.
Something, didn't it? It was because he was too close to the machine or something like that. Because I remember when you pick up that voxophone when you find the machine in the other dimension.
But that doesn't make sense because, let me think about this. When he, because presumably he was too close to the dimension machine, and he became infertile and wasn't able to have children. So does that mean he was experimenting with dimensions before he went to go and get his daughter? Because otherwise,
probably not.
If he was trying to get his daughter in the first place, then he wouldn't be infertile.
I think it's probably just because he travelled through the dimension.
No, because he only went to get her because he was infertile, but we're saying he's infertile because he used the machine to travel between. So I suppose he was just experimenting with dimensions beforehand? Maybe they knew it would happen, but because he'd already conceived his wife, and then she died. Maybe that's why, because he conceived his wife first, and then as she was having before she had the baby, she died, and then but he already knew that he would be infertile, so he went to the dimension afterwards.
I'm just looking at why he actually was infertile because I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly why he was.
Okay. Why did his wife die in the end? It was because of he shot her or something like that because he wasn't sure if she could keep
she wasn't sure,
or whatever.
Yeah, so
that's right. And then he blamed it on that black girl.
Fitzroy.
Yeah, that's it. What's the point of going to another dimension to get your daughter and then just locking her up in a tower? Like, you don't even get to see her. I don't understand. Is he hoping that she'll become his predecessor
I think it was
or whatever?
Remember they said because he locked her up in the tower because he was
because of her.
He wasn't sure if the woman would, if his new wife, his new wife didn't want to foster a bastard, so Comstock said, "Okay, keep my secret, and I'll lock her up in this tower." And at the same time, to keep her in there, he siphoned off the power and then used that power. I think
he did. No, he didn't have another wife, did he? After the
he did have another wife. He had a wife. Well, he had a wife in Colombia. But she died.
But
that was a long time after Elizabeth was trapped in the tower, because that's why she was trapped in the tower.
Oh.
It was then.
Okay.
It was then finally after they. It was a long time after that when she finally broke down and was going to tell, even after he had locked her in this tower, that he just shot her.
I think, coming back to what I said, I think he went to get her, brought her back,
Elizabeth,
and was hoping to just have her live with him. But because he was like, oh shit, her fingers sliced off, and now she can open these portals. They had to like keep us locked up in Siphon. So, but he wouldn't have just let her go back because it's like she can escape if she wanted to. He wouldn't have just let her go back because she could have messed around with dimensions, I guess, because it's kind of their duty to safeguard the dimensions idea now. So they wouldn't have just let her go back. So I think they had to keep her in the tower so she wouldn't do that.
It says here, really. Overuse of the Lutece's contraption continues to deteriorate his body, giving him cancer, which is why he says he dies because he sees his future, and he dies. So maybe when he saw his future, he saw it through this contraption. And remember, he used to say he was a prophet. So maybe seeing into the future was through this Lutece's machine, and that's why he got infertile and. So
we are saying he was messing with the machine before he went to.
It also says he was an old man at near age of 38, which is why Comstock looks so much older because it accelerated his life, which is why he grew a lot more. Which is why if anyone doesn't know, a cancer is just a really fast-growing cell. So I suppose he got cancer because his cells were growing so fast, which is why he looks old. So essentially, he just had accelerated growth because he was travelling through or looking through the dimensions too much, which is why he became infertile at such a young age. Because I think men do become infertile at some point. I think, like when they're at 90 or something.
So
something else.
When he's looking at her and her finger gets chopped off. Oh, I'm trying to remember. Right, so who's standing on the other side of the portal? It's
both Luteces. Comstock.
Who's on the other side though?
Elizabeth. Because Elizabeth and when we watch it, it's Elizabeth and DeWitt.
Oh yeah, DeWitt's watching.
What do you mean? Yeah. No.
DeWitt's on the other side of the dimension.
Yeah, and then you see Comstock just clamber through the portal, and then you, watching through DeWitt's eyes, go over and try and take her back. Elizabeth's standing next to you because she's telling this story to you, like guiding you through.
But how was... So, if we're just reliving, when was Booker actually there?
Back when... Before he found Elizabeth. No, not before he found Elizabeth. Yeah, before he found Elizabeth.
As they were taking her away, he like ran after her like, no, I don't want to let you go.
Columbia.
Oh, so he knew about these dimensions then, presumably, because he was watching it before he went to the tower and that. Actually, how did the whole thing with the tower start? Did the Luteces travel back through, be like, this is a bad idea, and then kind of took him on the boat to go to...
Luteces probably just said, do you want her back? And at that point, maybe they realised that this wasn't a good idea with Elizabeth, and decided to help him get her back.
What's this whole thing?
They were dead, weren't they?
Who? The Luteces?
They are dead.
What?
Yeah, they are dead. They explain that because remember, there's that line that they say the real Christian is like they explain that grammar thing, don't they? It's not dead. It's when, where, and who or whatever it was. Something. It's not that, but it's something like that. So and I think a voxophone does say that they're dead, and they just exist in lots of dimensions all at once.
When did they die?
I think they just died. I suppose they were exposed to the contraption as well, so they died early. I think they're dead. I think.
I don't remember them.
No, it doesn't actually say it. I think it says in a voxophone somewhere.
Oh.
It's not like a main point. It's not like a main thing.
And the songbird, I'm assuming Comstock got the Luteces to make the songbird.
Probably. I think it was like, do you know the handymen made out of people who are disabled, like cripples.
Yeah.
People who are crippled says, okay, I can if you work for me, I'll make you into a machine, pretty much. And that's what he does. So I think I'm going out on a limb and saying Songbird probably was a cripple.
I think it was just made from scratch. I don't think there was like anyone inside it or anything. But I have a feeling like, did you get the Lutesses to make it?
Probably.
And I'm assuming that's before they decided it was decided what he was doing was a bad idea and went to get Booker.
Probably.
So why didn't they give Booker like the information of give him a whistle and tell him how to use it and that? That would have been helpful. They'd have done that. Because they always guide.
They guide
the whole
but
game, but they never
do
actually
anything. Yeah,
help.
They never actually give direct help. They're always indirect.
I mean, maybe they have a fear of Comstock, but Comstock's old and he can't really do much. I mean, he could turn the whole of Columbia against them, but I mean, ultimately, the power lies with Booker and Anna.
There's always the point that they maybe didn't have the chimes. Maybe there's only one chime invented, and maybe Comstock was the only person with it.
I know, but we have to assume that maybe the bird was created by the Lutesses.
In which case...
I don't know where...
In which case the chimes were created only by the Lutesses. But if there was only one chime created, but if I'm right about the Lutesses dying, then they wouldn't be able to make another one. They would just exist in dimensions in order to give help indirectly.
I think it was very interesting seeing the old Anna. I think that was really interesting. I was like, whoa, is this the end of the game already? It was like, no, I'm sending you back. This is what could happen. It's just like, whoa.
And that kind of does happen in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. What, is there anything else? If not, then there's kind of stuff that we can go on to. Like, about Bioshock, I mean, still.
What else is there? After going through a 10-stamp dimension, Booker discovers an old frail Elizabeth looking over a burning city. The chaos is her undoing. She explains to Booker that this can never happen and gives him a piece of paper to the young Elizabeth. He then goes through... So I'm assuming she doesn't end up like that. That's more the future dimension.
Elizabeth? Yeah, she doesn't end up like that.
Because I'm assuming that's not another dimension. That's the future of the current dimension.
Yeah.
So time travelling more than anything.
If Booker doesn't save Elizabeth, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Because I think the plan was that Comstock would destroy America, starting with New York, which is why he sees New York on fire. Which is why he wanted Elizabeth to carry on. Remember there was all that talk about...
Why would Comstock...
Because remember they turned against him.
Okay.
If you look at the whatever they're called, the little like movies, silent movies, it explains how America turned against Comstock, which is why he went to Columbia.
Oh, I was really annoyed with those movie things because I went out of my way to try and collect all of them on the first run. I got like 72, I think it was. I missed like 8 of them.
And
only 8 out of 80, and I missed them.
I'll have a look
really
at what I got. I didn't really try and go out my way to get anything. I just explored massively and found what I did find.
Yeah, I just fancied going and trying to do everything on the first run.
I'm not going to replay it.
Just explore the whole game.
Yeah,
take my time with it.
At all.
Why did the old Elizabeth give her a note with just a cage on it, wasn't it? Why didn't she just give her the notes and say, play this is what you need to do? Why didn't she give all of the information?
I don't know.
Why did she just like hint at the information?
Collect every voxophone. Can I have a look at that? Oh, I can't look at the ones I haven't.
Oh yeah, it doesn't let you. It only shows you like when you're playing the game, I think. You're going through it. And if anyone at home wants to like give us information about anything we're talking about that we don't know the answer to, then or correct us if we're wrong, then you can do so below as well in the comments.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Open 30 tears, kill 20. Piece of fully upgraded one weapon. Use 30 lockpicks.
Why?
200 containers. No, I don't think.
Yeah.
I've got it.
Why does it says here, and I remember this. Where has it gone? Elizabeth, however, knows Booker knows something, even if he doesn't remember. Well, technically, he hasn't lived it yet, so he doesn't know something. But
no, he does know something.
Remember.
He does
that
know
makes
something.
Sense.
Because he knows that Elizabeth was dragged.
He knows about
dragged through.
And what? Do we know why he didn't remember? did he force himself not to remember? Oh well, I know his like memories were like contorted differently because he thought
he had a nosebleed, didn't he, every now and again, which showed his memory wasn't fully there because he was traveling traveling through dimensions, and because
that messed up his memories.
Because there was another Booker or Comstock in that other dimension.
His memories are merging
because they merge with Comstock, and then at the moment there's Comstock and Booker DeWitt in the same dimension, isn't there? So that's 2.
Yeah.
Plus, then when he moves over, there's another 2, and he's taken over that other Booker DeWitt's memory. So that then makes them...
Wait, 2? No, there's only been like 1 in his original dimension.
There's 2, because remember, he doesn't travel to another dimension to go to Columbia. Comstock came from another dimension, one which he was baptized in.
But Comstock we have to remember that Comstock and Booker were the same person, so in his original dimension there's only him, but when he travels there's Comstock.
Yeah. But Comstock travels to his dimension, so there's then 2 of him in his dimension, and then when he travels through to find the Chinaman, right, he's then changing from that one to one with Comstock and one that he's taken over from Booker DeWitt that was in that dimension. So he's then taken over again and again.
The Vox, that's the Vox Populi, which is... That's not like just the Colombian residents, is it? It's like the uprisers.
They're the racial resistance, is what I'm going to call them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're the people who basically just go against the racism.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
What did they do with the siphoned power? Do they just like get rid of it? You know, when she's in the tower, or
I think
they
it was
use it
to power, because it was used to power the speakers and stuff, wasn't it? There was loads of speakers about and that type of thing. So I think it was powered.
Well, I think the speakers were what was like draining it.
Yeah, well, I think
don't know.
I think it was just used
power.
for power, just general power to power electricity and things.
I think maybe they're doing like tests with it or something. I don't know. Maybe they were running the city on it or something.
It could have been. Well, no, because then... Well, no, maybe, maybe.
I think it was interesting when, near the end of the game, when they were looking at all the stars, and they were in fact an inverted version of the world, really, because they were all lighthouses as well.
Yeah.
That was quite interesting, because she went, oh, look at the stars, and I went, oh, that's quite good. And I looked up, that looks quite nice. And then when I watched a video on it, it was like, oh, that's the inverted world. That is all the other lighthouses. And I was like, whoa, that's quite deep, actually. That was really interesting.
Yeah. It was quite interesting to see, because it kind of tied all of them in together. I do have to say, though, I don't like the ending. Getting on to that type of thing. Because that was quite near the end, wasn't it, that lighthouse? I don't like the ending.
Yeah.
Some people have
Why's that?
heard
it all
do
kind
like
of just
it.
happened?
No, well, it's a mix of how they did the ending and what the ending was. Because what the ending was... No, I mean, I'll do how it was done first, because basically it was just an information dump for 20 minutes at the end, half an hour, where it was just no gameplay. It was literally just linear rails the whole time, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, you have to expect that, though, because it's all just like they just give you everything, and you're just like,
it was
whoa,
basically
overwhelmed.
just a cutscene for 20 minutes, half an hour at the end. They could have done that and spread it over the last 20 minutes of gameplay. And
I know, but there's not really much gameplay.
I'm not saying that's what they should have done at that point. I think what they did do was fine, but if you were going to change it so that it wasn't on rails, you would have to change the whole story. You would have to, you couldn't just do it. You have to shuffle everything about, like shuffle the whole game about and how it all moved and flowed, and spread the gameplay out more and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that's what that they should just do that now. I'm saying from the beginning they should have realised that if they're going to do what they're doing, like how the story's going to go, they're going to have that cutscene in the end, and they should have implemented that and done it differently.
Yeah. Honestly, I had more of an emotional reaction to Bioshock 2 than Infinite.
I didn't play 2 or 1, so you can go ahead and explain that, and then I'll do my ending bit at the end.
Because, I mean, that was really something, because, again, you were finding this girl.
Is this 2 or Infinite?
The second one, the second one. because you were finding this girl, and at the end, you know, there's lots of stuff happened. This person was trying to stop you. Then you finally got to the top, and she either killed you, or she was just saved you, or whatever. And it was quite. Whoa, there's like 4 different endings.
The endings though, were they dependent on how you played the game, or were they just?
Yes,
they were.
Yes.
Because that's a really big improvement. Because
I really liked that, and that was the whole game was like dark, and I actually liked the how light it was in Bioshock Infinite, because you could see everything and everything was nice, and they added the hooking onto the magnetic loop things as well. That was really nice. I really enjoyed that. Because I originally thought, oh, there's like you're gonna have to try and get between islands and stuff, but there wasn't really much of that.
In some places, it also added to the gameplay, because it meant if you were in a bad position, you could just jump out of it and kind of swing around for a little bit and then jump back in. Yeah,
and you can bring stuff into battle, which I thought was nice by the tears and
good addition. But the main problem, compared to 2, then let's say what you've just explained about 2, whether or not you chose the bird or the cage or chose any other option.
Oh, that was brilliant. You just like had it for the rest of the game, or if you decided to not bother that man, then you wouldn't get the knife in the hand. That was.
It didn't change.
It didn't, but it was a nice.
It would have been nice
extra.
if you changed something at the ending, because there's only one ending. It would have been nicer, maybe for me, because I don't like the end. Like, do you like the ending?
I don't think there's really any way to go with it other than the way they went. They went a bit far with the game as it was. I don't think they could have had multiple endings, because I mean, there's not really anything
they couldn't have had multiple
endings.
I understand they couldn't have multiple endings because then it would change everything in multiple dimensions. It would be so complex. It would be unreal, and it would change the rest of the game. You couldn't do it like that. But it would just felt like those options were a little bit too, I expected something more out of those options, and there wasn't any substance to them. So I was just a little bit disappointed about those.
I did think that
options.
The fact that Bioshock 2 was like really dark, it kind of gave more of an atmosphere. And this one, I didn't react as much to it. I did think it was better in aspects of like combat and stuff, and I thought the concept was really good, but I just didn't have. I had a connection, but it was kind of a distant connection, because it all got pieced together at the end, rather than. I mean, it kind of got pieced as you went along if you listened to the voxophones, but there wasn't. It was kind of like they were just taking you along to give you the ending. Everything was leading up to the ending. There wasn't like major things as you went along. That's what I'm saying
about how they did the ending. I'm saying how much everything was revealed at the end rather than as you gradually went along. It was just an information dump of everything at the end rather than as you went along. They could have revealed a little bit more. Like maybe how she lost her finger, they could have revealed that just after the Chinaman little section. Just after Finkton.
Yeah, I don't know how though, but
obviously you couldn't have done it, just implement it straight in. You'd have to implement other things, but they could have done it.
Yeah.
They could have done it, let's say.
Yeah. Did you notice that they went to an underwater
they went to Rapture, didn't
place? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's Bioshock 1 and 2 setting.
Yeah, it was in Bioshock 2. It was basically
do you know when Songbird died? If you actually go watch the Bioshock 1, when you fight someone, you can actually hear Songbird die in Bioshock 1. If you play through Bioshock 1, at a certain point in the game when you're talking to someone, you can hear Songbird die. So that means in Bioshock 1, it loops from Bioshock 1 all the way to Infinite.
Yeah.
Because as he screams in a
fight,
you
do see him falling down in Infinite. You do see him like falling through the water
he screams,
and screaming.
He dies. He lets out that Songbird scream thing that you always hear, right? In Bioshock 1, you can hear that exact scream. Like I went back and watched it. It's the exact scream, and it's like amazing.
Oh right.
And it's so clear. I'm trying to find it now. Songbird.
I think it was nice that they looped back around to Rapture though. Like just gave like an ode to it, and kind of was like, this is our.
But what it also means is that they were in. Elizabeth and Booker DeWitt were in the Rapture at the time of Bioshock 1, and all that. I looked back and went back to Bioshock 1, I look at the lore of that, and it was like during a civil war. So they were actually in Rapture during a civil war, which is kind of crazy.
It could mean that somehow Booker is in a different dimension, is like Big Daddy of Bioshock 2 and stuff, like the main character.
Really?
And other things like that. It could kind of loop round in some way, but I think that would be quite a stretch for me to think about unless they literally gave it to me. But yeah, and it was also it was really funny how he said, "Oh, an underwater world? That's really weird." Like he didn't just come from a floating place above the sky. Like, really? That was a bit. I was a bit, that they also did that for a bit of comedy. Really.
Yeah, if you go to Bioshock 1 and you look at the Fitzpatrick scene where you meet Fitzpatrick and he's like playing the piano and stuff, you can hear Songbird in the background, and you can definitely tell it's Songbird, and you can match the cries, like the actual how he sounds.
In the death of Fitzpatrick.
I don't know if I think it's the death. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. And what? He's screaming like the bird, or there's like
there's a scream in the background,
well as...
just an ambient scream in the background.
Right. Okay. Let me have a listen. I wonder what the story was for Bioshock 1 because I never played it.
I went back and looked at the lore. It's basically just it's kind of like just a civil war goes on. Basically, kind of the same.
Oh, okay.
Instead of racists, it's like something else, and some people just a civil war basically.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, I wonder how it must be just before the events of Bioshock 2, I believe. Because I remember watching the intro and they'd found the Big Daddy again. So the Big Daddy must have died at the end of Bioshock 1 or whatever. When does the scream actually come in? Because I'm watching the video right now.
I'm watching it now as well.
And for the people at home...
Yeah, so if you go to Bioshock Fitzpatrick gameplay on YouTube. I'm just watching it now.
Yeah, same. IGN and YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still can't hear anything.
Hang on, I'm just going to listen. Hang on, I'm just going to mute you. Actually, no, I won't. Hang on. It does happen though, because it definitely does happen. It's just.
Okay, well, for the people watching, it's got to be somewhere around Fitzpatrick. Not quite sure yet. I've just watched the whole video and I can't really see it, but where is it? Bioshock Infinite Return to Big Daddy Rapture Easter egg? What's that?
Yeah, I'm just watching the video.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll find it later for you, and I'll tell you about it later. But anyway, it's in that video. I know.
I'm trying to watch the Infinite video again. I just need to confirm, the falling thing was. Oh, it is a Big Daddy. It's not the bird actually in Infinite. I'm just looking at it now.
What?
In
the
Infinite,
background,
at the scene where you return to Rapture, apparently there's a Big
Daddy. Yeah, there is.
There's
a Big Daddy
like
and a
egg.
little sister thing in the background. I noticed that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, actually, it's
in the background, walking along a little path. Yeah,
I remember that now. Yeah, but the songbird still falls.
Yeah, the songbird falls just before that, and then if you stay for a little while, you see her in the background.
So I just had a thing where I was just like, wait, was it the songbird? Or
no,
it
was a
Big Daddy
songbird.
Or something. No, but
that's when you know. Yeah. That's how you know Songbird dies, and Elizabeth comforts her a little bit. But
what's the symbolism of having a lighthouse as the dimension, portal? Is there a reason for that? Is it something to do with something, in the Bible or something? I don't know. Why did they choose a lighthouse?
Lighthouses just usually guide the way. That's usually about it. And lighthouses, I suppose, link up different islands together. And you can tell lighthouses before. I suppose the predecessor to a lighthouse was torches, and if there was ever an army coming along, you would light a torch That torch would then light another one along the mountains, and it would gradually reach the nearest city, which would then be alerted that enemies are coming, which I suppose was the predecessor to a lighthouse. So I suppose linking cities together, alerting them of danger and stuff, I suppose.
Him being in debt, and then did he owe Comstock the money, or did Comstock pay him the money to pay off his debt?
I was thinking about this. We don't know. We don't find out.
Because I'm assuming that he's just paying him the money to pay off his debt. But it says Comstock relieves you of your... He says, like, forgives you of your debt, or relieves you... I can't remember
I was
if it
thinking
was,
about
like,
it. Either Comstock maybe kills the person he owes debt to, or pays off the person he owes debt to, or gives Booker the money to give him back, or...
Yeah, I think he gives him the... He probably gives him the money.
It wasn't that he owed Comstock, though, because it was gambling, and Comstock is religious, so he doesn't gamble.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
It wasn't to Comstock. It was just they probably just paid off the debt. It doesn't really matter though. I don't think that's quite right. So the ending. Did you like the ending? Because I still haven't explained why I didn't like the ending.
Yeah, it was alright. I mean, I wasn't overwhelmed with it. I know most people were, but I was just like, okay, that made sense. And then I was kind of like, the game had to end there anyway. The gameplay was getting a bit. I mean, I'm the type of person that will play a game right to the end, play everything in it, and then go, I'm exhausted myself. So, yeah.
Well, see, I have a problem with a lot of things like this, because I read a few, like... I read into this kind of thing, and... When I used to read, like, comics and stuff, and a few graphic novels, when I used to read those, they always have this problem as well, with the multiverse, and they also bring in lots of different dimensions, that type of thing. And it gets on my nerves a little bit, because...
Yeah, because there's so many ways you can go with it. It's like a get-free card.
Yeah, it's kind of what they call a Deus Ex Machina, which is basically in Roman times, or Greek times, to end up a show, in Greek, right? Like in ancient Greek.
Yep.
What they would do in some plays is just say, okay, now the gods fix it. And that would be it. The literal end would just be, okay, the gods fix it. And that would be the end. Like, there's no explanation to why the gods fix it. There's no explanation to why the gods do it. There's no explanation to how they do it. It's just the gods do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like there's no reason to why the dimensions do this.
Yeah, obviously they had to think about a bit more than
obviously,
that.
There's a lot more science to it, so there's a lot more logic to it. But essentially, it is.
I mean, the whole game was... It seems simple when you look at it, but think about all the things through the game that are kind of like affected by it. They don't have to put a lot of thought into it. But I suppose the rest of the game was formed around the ending idea, which was quite simple anyway.
I think Deus Ex had the same problem. I think that when you get an achievement, when you complete Deus Ex, I'm pretty sure you get an achievement that says Deus Ex Machina, because I'm pretty sure they knew the ending was a Deus Ex Machina. Obviously not the gods, but it was essentially a get-free card ending. And I'm just looking at the achievements now, and they knew that and just gave you an achievement for it. For like the general, when you complete a game, you...
Yeah. It was interesting that they formed everything so nicely in the game. Everything pieced together nicely. It's just, I don't know if...
Yeah, here we are.
I don't know, it's something just didn't click in my heart
has experienced
for it, really.
all the different endings that Deus Ex Human Revolution has to offer. So, yeah, they knew. I can't remember what the ending was. It was something a little bit weird. He had to kill himself or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm reading the thingy again on VentureBeat.com, and it says the Luteces went to help him after Comstock betrayed them. How did Comstock betray them?
Betray who? Oh,
the Luteces. Sorry, yeah.
Must be something to do with making him infertile. He must have gone back at them for that.
Because I don't understand what they did to what he did to them, or what reason he had to do it and that. I thought they were quite...
What happened?
Obviously he employed them and they were working closely together. Maybe he didn't tell them that this was his intention or something? I don't quite know.
Yeah. In which case that would explain why they went back for DeWitt.
Why didn't they just kill why didn't they just kill Comstock slightly earlier than they did, like when he went to take her in the first place? Why didn't they kill him then? But because what they did was they killed him right before they came. Well, they killed Booker right before he became Comstock, but couldn't they have just gone slightly into the future and kill him before he went to get
no,
Elizabeth
because at that point,
Anna?
but at that point, Booker had already made the decision to be baptized. So Comstock was born.
Yeah.
So you couldn't kill it at its. You couldn't kill the problem at its roots. At the baptism is the constant, and it will always happen in every universe. Killing Booker at that constant ends all the universe, all the possible dimensions. Comstock being born.
I read somewhere that Comstock is if he'd have taken the baptism, but we know he didn't take the baptism, so he couldn't have been him.
Comstock did, but Booker didn't.
Yeah, so how would he have became Comstock then? Because he didn't actually take the baptism. Because we saw the actual memory where he escaped instead.
That explains how Booker didn't become Comstock. Comstock is only born from Booker.
Yeah, but why did they kill him then if he wasn't going to become Comstock?
Because at that point, at that constant time point, right? You have to think of it like Doctor Who, how he explains it, right? Time always runs at certain points, right? And it all interlinks at one point, and at that point, it is a constant.
But that version of him wasn't going to become Comstock.
No, because
well, he supposedly was, but he hadn't taken the baptism to become him.
No, because at that point, do you know when he escapes? They then go back. They then go off somewhere, and then they come back to that point before he makes the decision, and that's when they kill him. Before he makes the decision to have baptism or not have baptism, that's when they kill him. So before Comstock is born and before Booker is born, they kill him. So that neither of them can be born. And Anna, so before Elizabeth was stolen, is still born because they kill Booker before he has the chance to... They kill Booker when Anna is born, like after that, but they kill him before the point when he makes a choice. So Anna can still exist, but only in one dimension, which is why Elizabeth exists. And if you actually watch after the credits, right, you see in the last little scene. I don't know if you saw it. I didn't have to go back on YouTube and watch it. That you hear that Booker's sitting on his desk, like in his Pinkerton thing, and he goes,
and
he goes, you don't see who if she's not in the cradle or not, because the point is that one Elizabeth can exist because he was killed after she was born. So one Booker can exist and one Anna can exist, but Comstock and Booker can't.
Yeah. It says here, when in the original dimension Booker rejected the baptism, another world was created in which he accepted it. This is the place they're in now. But they're killing the other version of him, so even though they're in the same dimension with the one he accepted it, they killed him. They killed the version of him that didn't.
No, they killed the version. No, because they went back.
They were in the world where he did the dimension where he did accept it, but they killed the version of him.
No, they killed both versions.
Because, okay.
Because I'm thinking of it. I think we're thinking of it different ways, and I don't know which one's right.
I think I'm thinking too deep.
I don't know which one's right, but because I'm doing physics A level and all that type of thing, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Think of it like a graph. Okay, so you've got one line, and you've got lots of different lines that merge into one line. Okay, and they merge into that one line where they cross. So where that y-intercept point is, right, is called the constant. And that constant always happens no matter which part you're in. And that constant is the choice.
Yeah, I get that.
And then that choice then streams off into two lines. And then those two lines stream off into another two lines. And they multiply and double up. Because those two... Because after that constant...
So they're changing the constant.
Yeah, they delete that constant. So all the two streams that come off of that constant are... has baptism, doesn't have baptism, right? if they delete that constant and kill him before he makes a choice, then both of those are destroyed. So only one now exists, because that constant isn't there, but the stream is. So the stream keeps going.
Yeah.
Get it? So the stream keeps going. So one booker exists, or one Comstock exists. One of them exists, which means Anna exists as well, but just one, which is why you don't see the last one leave, I presume. That's how I'm looking at it. I don't know if that's right.
Okay, well, I think I've run out of things.
I'll tell you what we'll do.
I've got like a summary version here. Then we can, I don't know if you've got anything else to say about it, but I've got a summary here.
I'm just gonna go through,
and then.
Yeah, I have like a few things to say, and I just want your opinions on them because I do the reviews, don't I? So I've got the forum, but not the format in front of me, and I kind of want to talk about the actual gameplay as well because, like, you played 2, and I think it's kind of important to actually point out it's a game, not a film. So we need to go into the gameplay of it as well.
Okay.
So first up, I suppose the gameplay. We've kind of talked about the movement and how you move around the map through the railroad. So we don't talk about that. Enemy variation is kind of poor. Because that's another thing.
Yeah, but I mean they couldn't have really improved many people.
Yeah,
but I suppose Bastion, they could have done in a way because they did put like the heavy duty kind of the handyman and different types.
I found it really easy to skip. Like, what guns were you carrying?
Oh, it depended. I pretty much had to go at all of them because I wanted to get the different achievements and different guns so many times.
Like, I don't care about achievements very much, but I just want to experience it. So I think the only 2 guns I carried were majority, like 80%, 90% of the time I carried shotgun, pistol, and the shotgun and pistol I interchanged with the hand cannon, the revolver.
Yeah, that was really good.
And basically, if handyman came up to you, all you got to do is shock jockey.
Shoot him in the heart.
Shock jockey him, stuns them, just run up to them, shoot them loads of times with the hand cannon, and then if that runs out, swap over to the pistol or the shotgun, shoot them loads of times, and it's super easy. It's super as long as I only ever used shock jockey. Like that, as soon as I got to shock jockey,
the figures were really good.
I never used anything but shock jockey. Even if I didn't get before I didn't have shock jockey, I didn't use any of the figures.
I think my favourite was Incinerate because you can get like an upgrade, which means that it goes on to the next you throw it explodes and hits loads of people around, and then when they die, it goes on. It creates another one as well. I had the
shock jockey and the gear for the shock jockey and the shock jockey improvement. So if I hit one guy, it would spread to loads around them. So do you know, like in the last battle when you've got the Iron Patriots coming, all you do is shock one, all 3 of them are stunned. Just go around and shoot them all. It takes like 10 bullets to kill them, and because I've got a hand cannon and a shotgun, it takes like 10. I'll just switch between them, reload, and then do it again, and it works every time. It's made everything super easy. So
I liked the different gear you could get, and it's random which one you get. And
is it?
There's certain places you can get them.
I didn't know it's random.
Yeah, because although it's the same places that you get them, it's
ones
random what actual piece of gear you pick up.
That's quite interesting then. Yeah, again, we've talked about power variation, which is another one. Power variation, I would only ever use shock jockey, just because it was really...
Yeah, I think people have their favourites, but I swap sometimes. I mean, every vending machine I saw, I just used the friendly thing, and it just gave me as a cash from it. So
I never really used that. I kept forgetting. But I didn't really spend much money either. I always had loads of money because I never needed to buy any upgrades. Because by the time you could buy shock jockey, it wasn't worth it.
I only ever upgraded damage. I never upgraded the clip size and that.
I upgraded clip size and upgraded damage, but only again for pistol, shotgun, and hand cannon. And shotgun and hand cannon don't have upgrades for damage because they're already too powerful. It was the only ones I used because, I didn't see the point in using anything else because stun them, I can walk really up close to them and just shoot them, and then that gets rid of them. I mean, stunning them was like the best thing for me. It just got rid of all of them. It like super easy handymen at that point was pretty bad. And also power variation. Like there wasn't very many like everybody said it's a really good game, like really innovative, but only in story, not in gameplay, because there wasn't many different powers there. It was literally just fire, electricity, crows, but crows were essentially just like any stun. Like you can get bees and stuff in other games. You know what I mean? Like just any animal thing, and then you've got possession, which is kind of unique. You know, it's kind of interesting. What you could do with possession is kind of interesting, like how they shoot themselves at the end and using machines to get money.
I quite like the combat and stuff that they implement.
I don't think it was that bad. It just wasn't very like
different all the time.
It was very easy, and it was for me. Well, for me at least, because like I've already explained what I'm using, it's very easy, and it also got in the way of the story. Like I found things.
You feel like you want to get on to the next bit of the story,
and everything took ages to do. Like guys would be coming at you for at least half an hour sometimes, you know. And well, not that's a bit of an exaggeration, but people were coming at you for ages, and I kind of wanted to get on with the story. It just didn't make much sense. And then level of immersion we've already talked about, and I spelled immersion with an I. That's wrong. I spelled that with an E. Immersion. So atmosphere you've talked about compared to Bioshock 2. Use of AI development, which is basically like how good the AI was. Like enemy AI was cool. That's fine. It was fine. It wasn't anything different, and it wasn't, you know, like it wasn't. They weren't idiots. They did hide in cover, kind of thing. And Elizabeth was like pretty fantastic. Compared to like Skyrim companions, like she never got in the way. She looked after you in battle. She gave you money.
It was cool how she gave you money through the thing, or ammo, or whatever you needed.
It didn't get in the way at all. Like, and what she.
And then when you revived from where you were, and she just like.
And what she did do was kind of like she'd give you ammo, and then every now and again there'd be like a little adorable scene where she'd like try and pick up, like on the beach, you know, and she's trying to throw rocks, skipping rocks, all that type of thing. So she was quite a good character, and that was pretty good. Audio again, music, sound effects, voice acting. Not really much to say. There's nothing too unique, nothing too surprising for a AAA title. And then graphics, which is fine. Art style was somewhat different from other games.
It's the same kind of as Dishonored, isn't it? Really, the graphics style, I think. At least. It's like that everyone's trying to get now. It's like the new kind of graphics everyone likes.
I found Borderlands. I think it's like Borderlands, Dishonored. I think Borderlands looks a lot like Dishonored.
It's kind of gimmicky, like cartoony, but in a way it allows it to be sharper. Yeah. And you can do more things with
for consoles.
Like you can make more beautiful
for consoles as well. It's quite good because you don't need much. Like it's not like Crysis level of detail. It means you can have sharpness without detail. So you could have like 1080p on consoles, like the present console generation, without having like it explode. Story we've talked about, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and right at the bottom we've got longevity and replayability.
I would go back and play it, but it's not something you can go back straight away and play. I'd have to wait quite a while and then go and play it.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, once you've got to the end, that's pretty much it over for you, because it's heavily relies on story. And the combat's alright, but it gets stale after a while.
Yeah.
So even though there's quite good mechanics, and you can play it a different way each time,
of the different figures,
which is nice.
So, and you can combo them together. So,
but other than that, it gets a bit.
And finally, enjoyability. No, not enjoyability. Enjoyability and cost. So, what I kind of usually talk about in reviews here is like, was it worth the money that you paid for it? And would you have rather waited till it was on sale to buy it? Because when we bought it, it was kind of new. Like it was.
Yes.
It was like 30 quid.
Yeah,
so,
I'm happy with the price.
It is AAA. So when with Bastion and stuff, it wasn't. So.
And I wouldn't have waited because you kind of need to get on the hype train of certain games.
Yeah, that's why I bought it. I was afraid I didn't want to dodge stuff anymore. I didn't want to dodge spoilers, that type of thing.
Yeah. So yeah,
and I'm just
overall out of 10, I'd probably give it an 8.
8 out of 10. I'm just doing my score now because I do review like scoring.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't want to do a review on it since I'm doing this. So like this can be my review. Yep. So yeah, I'm just going to tally up my score. So yeah. Anything else you want to say?
Well, while you're doing that, I'll just give a brief summary of everything, courtesy of VentureBeat.com. So basically, if you want a summary of what has happened, minus the confusing shit, Comstock was Booker in an alternate reality where he didn't decline the baptism. Comstock took, either by force or through buying, Booker's daughter, Anna, also Elizabeth. Booker went on a cycle of trying to get her back that never ended and always ended up the same. In the end, he let himself be killed, and the point where he turned into Comstock, and thus everything Comstock-related, died. He became himself in his last pure Comstockless memory, which was him with baby Anna. Let me read that again. In the end, he let himself be killed, and the point where he turned into Comstock, and thus everything Comstock-related died. Right, okay. He became himself in his last pure Comstockless memory, which was him with baby Anna.
Yeah, that's at the end, right at the end of the credits, I think. That's what they're trying to say.
So, he's saying that he did go and live on. At the end after the credits, when he sees Anna, that's the only version of him that survived, basically. Okay. Anyway, P.S. a quick note, I forgot to mention, this is on the website. The AD on Booker's hand stands for Anna DeWitt, which you've covered. Comstock foresaw Booker coming now, doubt because he knew he would try and get his daughter back, because he never wanted her to leave. Since writing this ending explanation, since written a new piece answering my many recurring questions about Bioshock Infinite's ending, this can be found on my blog. This is from the website, address below, blah 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 blah. So if you want more information, basically go and check out VentureBeat.com, and they have this extra post as well, which can help understand more things. So yeah, I think that's it. What did your score tally up to?
The last one, 33.
Oh, okay.
Out of 40.
Oh, 33. Oh, that's quite good then. So it's like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah. I think that's kind of fair. I did tweak the scores a little bit.
Yeah.
I came out first, 25 out of 40, and I think it deserves more than that. So.
Yeah.
I think it's probably just like when you look at the raw. It's one of those games where you look at the raw scores, and it's not a particularly high game, but because when you actually play through it, it becomes more enjoyable. You can't look at it through paper, is what I'm saying. You can't look at it on paper. You have to play it because it's more like story and how you feel and enjoyability based. So yeah, 33 out of 40 or whatever I gave it's quite high.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, I think that's it, unless I can find the blog, which has some more stuff. But I think we covered everything anyway, so...
Oh, I just looked at the comments on that Bioshock Death of Fitzpatrick gameplay. 14 seconds, Songbird.
Is it? Wait, let me go and find it again. What's it called?
Bioshock Death of Fitzpatrick gameplay.
Right, well... 14 seconds, you say?
Oh yeah, it is.
I can't find it.
Yeah, 14 seconds.
Oh yeah, I can hear it. Yeah. Okay, well that pretty much wraps everything up. We'll hopefully do some more topic videos. They might be shorter than this because we've been doing it for an hour.
Big game.
But it depends how much there is to say. We'd like to cover everything and have a good chat that gives you all the information.
Yeah, well,
so
kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. and see you next
See ya.
time. See ya.